Isn't it funny how what you thought would make you feel successful as a kid is probably completely different than what you actually feel successful about as an adult?
Yes.
Ever notice that?
Yes.
That's why 101, Adam and Allison. There are some milestones that actually do signify success that I never would have thought of as a kid. My idea of success as a kid was whenever I had a life that looked pretty much exactly like my parents' life, like home in a neighborhood, family, and everything. And then whenever I got to adulthood, that wasn't what success looked like to me at all.
Well, and I think it's because, too, once you get to adulthood and you do start to accomplish or get some of the things that you saw as signs of success in childhood, they don't make you feel successful. But then there are other things that you do that are very mundane things that you're like, that made me feel good about myself.
So that's why I wanted to share these, because I think it is going to make all of us feel better about how successful we are in life, because these are not traditional milestones that actually do show success. If you have some kind of fulfilling relationship in your life, that's a sign of success.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Not necessarily romantic, but just fulfilling relationships with other people.
That is 100% a huge accomplishment.
Not your dog, though. I don't think that your dog counts as a fulfilling relationship and like a successful thing.
Well, that's rude.
I'm just saying.
It's rude.
If you're financially comfortable, like maybe you're not like extremely well off, but you're comfortable enough. You have the things that you need. Another sign of success.
I think that's the biggest one in adulthood is once you get to a point where you're not worried about if you can pay rent and the light bill, like that is such an accomplishing, successful feeling.
Now, here's one that I need to work on. Once you get to a point in your life where you do not seek validation from others, a sign of success.
That is a huge sign of success. Once you can have internal validation instead of external validation, your life gets better.
But external validation feels so good.
Well, you got to work on that one then.
You found and set high standards for yourself. That's another one for me. Like, I like low standards.
Well, and
I
don't know that I like the way that one is worded.
Okay.
I feel like maybe more once you're able to set up habits for yourself or you have like healthy routines, that's a better sign of, I feel like saying high standards makes it sound like something that it's not really.
One more one that is kind of an unconventional sign of success. If other people are speaking highly of you behind your back. Which, how would you ever know, first of all?
Isn't that external validation?
Yeah, it
so
kind of is.
I don't like that one. Let's not worry about what other people think. Let's worry about what we think about ourselves.
So you're not interested, you're not curious to hear about times that people spoke highly of you behind your back?
No.
No, really?
No.
Not at all?
No, I don't want to get caught up in I don't want to be more worried about what people think about me than what I think of myself.
Interesting. Gotcha. I loved that list of unconventional signs of success because nowhere on there was anything about getting like promoted at work or reaching a certain level in your career, making a certain amount of money. It did say being financially secure, but I feel like that's different than...
It's definitely different than what you would equate it to whenever you're a kid. Like when you're a kid, you hear things like, oh, when I make 6 figures, I'll feel successful or something annoying like that. Whereas once you're actually in adulthood, it's like, okay, I was able to pay all my bills and I didn't have to, move money from the food account to the light bill account.
Yeah. And things like nothing about like romantic relationships or anything, just like relationships with people. That was the first thing on the list. Having fulfilling relationships in your life is a sign of success. And I did say with people, not necessarily dogs. And I do have to apologize because I didn't mean to like downplay anybody's relationship with the dog. I just don't necessarily think that that's a sign of success. I think there are some unsuccessful people that have great relationships with dogs.
Well, but... I mean, maybe it's not a sign of success, but it's a good jumping off point, I think, if you work on building a relationship with your dog or your cat or whatever and kind of work on yourself a little bit before you just dive into any relationships. That way you can, meet people who are actually going to align with you and be good for you.
And I didn't think about it like this, but if you have a successful relationship with your dog, you also have some responsibilities that you're taking care of.
Yes.
Having a dog. So that could be kind of a sign of success. This text says the best relationship in the world is with my 4-legged child. She's always happy to see me. And then you had texted back about how your dog peed on your bed this morning.
Yeah, but he's still my best relationship by far. He made me very mad this morning, but I still love him very much.
And she said, well, no relationship is perfect. I thought that was funny.
It's certainly not perfect.
Signs of success that aren't necessarily obvious. You don't think about whenever you're a kid. Jesse said, made it out of small town USA and made a very successful life for myself.
That's huge for a lot of people, just being able to move out of their hometown. Shonda says success is when you wake up happy to begin the day.
That is a really good point, too. I think another sign of success is not dreading going to your job every single day. You know, like
I agree with that.
if you're able to get some sort of fulfillment out of your work where maybe you don't look forward to going in every single day, but it's not like the worst part of your life having to go to work for 40 hours a week.
Something that made me feel successful, and I would say was a major milestone for me personally, it's very silly, was the first time I was able to kill a spider all by myself. I felt really accomplished. I felt like such a big girl. Like I didn't have to get a roommate, a boyfriend, a maintenance person. I called nobody and I squished it all by myself. You don't know the wave of success that like went over me. That was a big milestone. I still remember the spider.
Did that milestone, did you feel like that helped you with other things in your life? Do you ever, like if you're doing something hard in your life, do you remember harken back to the time you killed the spider on your own?
It was the first time I felt like I could live alone. Like I was like, I can do this. I'm going to be all right. I killed a spider. I'm a big girl now.
Yeah, that's a huge sign of success, I would say.